Man-Made Monster from 1941 on Blu-ray. This is my day 11 of 31 of my hashtag 31 days of horror for 2023. One really great thing about this movie is it was only 60 minutes long. I found this movie to be a very typical by the numbers horror movie. This is not my favorite, but we'll go over a few parts. I'd like to highlight the official carry position of villains. All right, to announce how absolutely typical it is, they play the same music. Cool title cards how they rotate, but my goodness, this is the same song we've heard a whole bunch of times. So quick note on the Blu-ray, it looks okay. It's scratched up and dirty and poppy sounding. It's not the greatest sounding Blu-ray, but it sure is great to have these old movies in HD and be able to see them for the first time in this good quality. One thing I've been loving in these old movies is the miniatures and the horrible things that happen to said miniatures. Look at this thing. Oh no, what's gonna happen? Oh, it's going too fast. Zap, 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 zap. Anyway, the miniature work in these movies is actually really great and is usually pretty convincing. But I just love all the horrendous accidents that befall these miniatures. This movie had an absolutely great cast. Had the guy who just got done playing Dr. RX, got Lionel Atwill, it's got Lon Chaney, other people that did really good. So you've got Lon Chaney, boop, and this girl who I recognize, and their on-screen chemistry is actually really great for the very short time that they have it. So this guy's the one that survived that miniature car accident in the beginning. Everyone else died and he survived even though they all got electrocuted. Turns out because he was lightly electrocuting himself for like a stage act, and so he built up an immunity. Anyway, he's like so peppy and so nice and so kind. Anyway, they start doing experiments on him. It starts getting weird and he's gonna get these powers, and she's gonna end up dating another dude. But look at how she starts with him, which looks like it's like, oh, they're totally gonna hook up. But then watch her introduction with this other guy.
The main Bob, what are you doing tonight?
Well, Mr. Adams,
He's a reporter.
I'm here professionally.
Actually, I think she's already known him before, but look at
Do you
this.
think there's anything amateur? Look, June, you're making it awful tough for me. I'm trying to romance with you, and what do I get? Biology.
Look, he's like grabbing her on the shoulders and like throwing her around, and she totally does turn him down. And then like a couple scenes later, like they're totally dating. And the only reason I can think that is the case is because Lon Chaney's character suddenly went super soggy, personality-wise, because he keeps getting electrocuted in the experimentation room. And so she just was like, all right, I'll date this guy. But I think she totally would have like dated the Lon Chaney character because they really hit it off. So Lon Chaney gets superpowers and makes this amazing face. But then look, we get this doctor thing that is in so many of these movies.
Now you'll do exactly as I say. Step down from there.
Anyway, so he gains super strength. He's got full of electricity. He's going to start shocking everything. But he suddenly has to be totally obedient to this guy. I don't understand that. Well, I guess that's the doctor's whole thesis, is that you can use electricity to kind of mold people to your will. But my goodness, that is a very commonly used idea. The mad doctor gaining control of their subject and the subject acting, doing horrible things outside of their control. I mean, where have we heard this before? I'm not trying to sound like ungrateful for all these amazing classics, but this one truly is just like a checkbox one. It's really what it felt like. Even down to the part where he picks up the girl and she does the like backwards thing and he's holding her and they're like walking through the forest. Like, that didn't happen for any other reason other than that the plot needed it to happen so they could put it on the poster. Like, that's seriously how superfluous that scene felt. I mean, at this point, I pretty much cheer every time I see the official carry of the villains. I pretty much cheer, and it makes me very happy. But my goodness, this was a special movie. So he gains power from electricity. Hang on, I gotta rewind that. That's one of the lines I wanted to show you. It's a humdinger of these kind of movies. But he gets powered by electricity. So then he does a crime, and then he has to go to the electric chair. So electric chair, and when they announce it in the movie, you're just like, yeah, of course you are. And he's gonna get super powerful and break out and kill people. But listen to this line. It's another like quintessential one of these kind of movie lines. Not necessarily for like what they say, but kind of like what information that the character has and what they deliver and just how cheesy it sounds. Let's listen to this. Listen.
McCormick just scared the life out of some people out at Lakeside. And he's stolen a pair of rubber boots. Rubber boots? Well, then he won't die.
Rubber boots, but then he won't die. It's like as if they just know like the science behind his experiment, that it's like slowly draining out of him. It's like, wait a minute, if you have rubber boots, he won't die. It's like, how does this random guy know that? Check this out. He lights this carriage on fire. And check out these stunts. Watch these stunts where this dude jumps off the side of it. Look at this. Right there. Yeah. That's pretty great. That's a good move. That's a good, not so much tuck and roll, but it's like hit and roll forward. I was very impressed with that stunt. Also, I love watching wagons full of fire with live horses on them just running down the road and then rolling over down the hill. That was pretty neat. Here we go. Here it is. There it is. The official carry of the villains. It never gets old. Aww. The dog knows he wasn't really a bad guy, that he was just being influenced by an evil doctor. The dog liked him the whole movie. So that was kind of touching and sad. So the mad scientist had been keeping kind of like a false log of his journal, like with the correct numbers so that it could stand up against law enforcement. But he also kept a real journal of his actual experiments with this guy, and they were pretty heinous. And so the girl finds the journal, and at the end of the movie, she says to this guy, she's like, you don't want to publish that notebook because then people will be able to imitate what he did. And they're like, yeah, good point. Let's just burn this evidence. And then so Lon Chaney's characters like basically like character assassinated for the greater good. They burned the evidence. Anyway, it's like, okay, cool. I guess you can just decide that. This one wasn't my favorite, but the thing is, even in the ones that I think are kind of stinkers, which I think is, this one's on the lower end of the horror, universal classic horror movies, there's still so many things during it to enjoy. So it was all right, but this has been day 11 of 31 of my 31 days of horror. So thanks for watching with me so that I'm not watching alone. I appreciate your company, and let me know what you thought. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.